Hello and thanks for tuning in to Me and My Golf. We are coaches Piers and Andy, and we're at the PGA Orlando show. We have a special guest for the Impact Show, Andy. We've got Martin Chuck from Tour Striker Academy.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you so much.
Martin, thanks for joining us.
Cheers, mate. Yeah,
Love your work. We'll
Thank
tell
you.
the people, if they haven't seen you already, where they can find you. But what we want to do, we're in the TrackMan booth. We want to talk about what we feel is the most important part of the golf swing.
Absolutely.
The club face and how we control that.
Got to hit that thing right there, right? It's got to kind of be aiming where you want the ball to go. Shall we get started?
Let's get started. So what we wanted to go through, some of the things that you would see players doing, not having that control.
So I'm going to hit. Let me hit two shots and talk about it.
Let's do it.
So I'm going to hit a lot of the folks that come see me are struggling with club face control, and we'll get something that looks like this, and they'll have a variety. So this was a shot. It's actually going to land on the target line to a degree, right? But this is a shot where the shaft got very, very steep. When the shaft gets very, very steep, now the student goes into this condition where they have to try to make this face work down at the golf ball. And you can get pretty good at this. And you do enough reps, you can get good at anything, right? But what we're trying to do is these folks that are always fighting distance and fighting the fade, like that ball had a fade on it, frankly, it didn't go very far. It carried 107 yards. Let me hit one more shot, and we'll talk about the differences and how I think club face control can be understood maybe perhaps a little differently. So I'll hit a stock shot.
Sounded a little different.
Yeah, a little different. Now that ball went a fraction left of my target line, but that carried 164 yards with a 7-iron. And that's what we're looking for, and you can kind of see the playback in the screen there. Now in the playback, here's the thing that's critical, like right there, that little moment from the top down, because from the top down, you guys, if we can let this shaft get in a position where pivot wants the face to square, rather than from the top down, if we tilt the shaft a little too steep, the shaft's always going to chase the direction of the hands at some point. Okay, we're always going to respond to that, right? So the golfer out there that's loving your videos, as I do, they're usually getting a little too steep, and then they're shallowing late. When you shallow late, that face wants to rotate open, okay, and then the back of their brain says, try to fix it, right? So you see all these grips that are worn out, and they got these wear holes in the grips and things. They're trying to do something in the last moments. Good players, you can look at your grip after a year and go, yeah, I'm just going to replace them, but they're not worn out because they're not twisting and torquing and trying to do all these things in the last moments, right? So the subtle thoughts for these folks, and it's really tricky, is that you feel when a golf club feels like it's sort of behind you, you feel like, oh my gosh, it's never going to get around. But when you add a little rotation, that's the beauty of it. Now this club's going to try to help you square. It's not something that you have to fit in the last moments.
So what you're saying more in transition then, really, Martin, is
Very
really
much.
where the magic happens allow you to get that rotation and pivot to square the face.
Exactly.
Haven't you got a product for that? Is that right?
So I'm embarrassed. The educator, right? You guys have seen it.
I've seen it, I've used it. It's
I
good.
can't wait to show Piers and Andy my educator, and then I forgot to bring one. But yeah, it's a simple training aid that kind of inspires somebody to learn this relationship on how when you can look at the swing a couple ways. I think about it Ferris wheel and merry-go-round. Okay, there's Ferris wheel components and there's merry-go-round components. In the merry-go-round components, if I just held this golf club here, guys, and I started to rotate, this club, since it's going to stay where it is until something, Sir Isaac Newton says something in motion is going to stay in motion, right? So as I start to rotate, this club's going to want to shallow, right? But the problem is people tip the shaft, and then they're always in a response in the milliseconds, the late milliseconds of a golf swing, right? So naturally, the Ferris wheel components are more of the backswing, and then the merry-go-round components are more of the rotation that we apply to the ground as we go to turn to face the target, and that's the feels that let the club shallow and want to sling inside out. And I always tell people, there's a draw built into every swing if we don't mess it up. But everybody messes it up. I can't blame them, right? Little kids seem to get it sooner. Adults try to get strong and manipulate it.
It's interesting though when you say that about the club shallowing, and then obviously that suggests that the direction, the path is more to the right. People go, well, why should I swing to the right when the ball's going there? I'm slicing it there. So they have that fear of making it worse, but actually it doesn't work that way.
Right, and I always say, club, if you rest it on a table, it's going to flop one way or flop the other, right? So when the weight of the golf club comes from behind us a little bit, it's always trying to close. And I know the odd better player watching this video might say, well, I hook it too much. Well, there's certain things for you, but we're talking to the most golfers. They just want to have more fun, hit the middle of the face, have that ball start and be projected sort of at our target more. And those are the folks that, you know, get a little steep and then they're always trying to fight it and sort it out at the bottom.
Okay.
Those are the ones we can really help enjoy the game more.
So obviously your educator would have been perfect for this, but you haven't got it. So I'm sure you have the wherewithal to get me a drill that's going to actually...
Absolutely.
So what can the people do if they haven't got an educator and they want to get this club face?
You know, so I like people to get to the top, and so understanding what the top is, I always say, make a backswing for me without moving your shoulders. And so naturally I'll see people make this motion. I'll always say, you know, they'll drag their arms across their body. So I'll say to them, okay, rather than that, how about there's my backswing with no shoulder turn? And so now as I add some pivot, now I've got some organized arms at the top that now I have some room for my rotation, allow that golf club to fall behind me. Everybody's trying to hit a draw, right? Yeah. So to hit a draw, they like to drag it inside. They get trapped, they get their lead arm pinned across their chest, and now they have no room, and then they tilt, they get the shaft steep, and then they've got to fix it, right?
Yeah.
So I like people to say, okay, there's my address hands, there's my top of backswing with no backswing pivot, and you get them assembled and you get them organized with a reasonable wrist and a bent trail wrist, and then, you know, get them to rotate to where they can feel arm structure. I got a product for that too.
And this is great here. Every swing that you've done, Martin, this here is very, very neutral, which
right.
is really important for that face, isn't it?
It's not super cuppy. You're right, because let's face it, and I could have gone down that road too with this, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's looking for power, so they try to really rear back, and they create too many angles, guys. And then in the blink of a downswing, that's another steep that they're going to have a hard time recovering from. So rather than swing for the fences every time, I'd rather people learn how to hit it out of the middle of the face solidly. That's going to give everybody their best distance, right? And if you're in the physical condition of you guys, it's going to go really far too.
Great. Full of compliments.
Structure, let it, you know, and then we'll pivot and smash it.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Let's see you hit one then, doing that then. So we see if we can actually change.
Let's go. Let's hit a nice little draw down there.
Get this ball flight going. Yeah, as I say, right to left. Yeah, really nice. Beautiful. You can see you getting that shape on the shot there.
I'd like to start it a bit more to the right, but
club face we can see there is 2.3 degrees left of the path, so that means that you were able to get that club going in a good direction.
Now, in a great one there, that face is going to be starting the ball a fraction to the right of the zero.
Of course, yeah.
You know, but I mean, that shot's not going to be too bad. Maybe left of the pin, left fringe, but it's early in the morning and I haven't had my coffee.
Exactly.
I haven't even opened the show yet. That's
right.
So look, Martin, that's really good, and I think so many people can learn from that and develop that into their games.
Yes.
If they want to see more of your videos or just your golf schools, I know you do very well with as well. How are they going to see you?
Tourstriker.com.
And the products as well, obviously.
Yeah, the products.
He actually has got products. He's not making it up.
And they're all really good, actually. We've used a lot of them, so they are very good.
Thank you, guys. It's been great to be with you.
Really good to see you.
Cheers. Thanks, Martin. Don't forget to post any questions down below, guys, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for
watching.